All right, we're good.
Hello, everybody. We
Hello,
are,
hello.
we're going to give us a little bit just to go ahead and start to like and share if some of you are already on watching live. We're also trying to go ahead and get this up on other pages at the same time. So
Yes.
we're going to give us just a little bit of a moment. Let me put my volume down because that always happens every time. There we go, share. Jeremy, how are you doing on your end there?
Jay, doing good.
I'm getting it onto the different pages here as we're also waiting for all of you all to log on. So a big hello to you, and we'll do like our little formal introductions just a moment. You guys are logging on and we're getting you onto different pages. Jason and I will, if we can get Jason tagged here as well.
Yep, I'm good. I'm already done.
Okay.
I'm tagged in.
We've got that one, and then we have this one going in. All right. So, I know that we are live here on Waves of Light. We're here with the amazing Jason Layton.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Uh, I'll be talking to you about our Waves of Light conference, which will be Martin Luther King Day weekend in January of 2020 in Sarasota, theme of which last year we met the wonderful man who we're here speaking with tonight and his beautiful wife, Jason and Jamie Layton. They are an amazing couple, very gifted, very beautiful, and the beautiful thing is they're going to be speaking and doing a workshop type of event at the conference now for Waves of Light in Sarasota in 2020 in January. So, Jason, will you please do us the honor of introducing yourself and talking a little bit about you and Jamie and all the amazing work that you do, because you guys are just so
Yes.
fabulous. I admire the two of you for all the work you do, all the effort, and I don't know how you do it with family, with children, with jobs, and yet you're out there sharing all your love and light with the rest of the world.
Yes, it's a lot of energy. A lot of energy that has to be put out. Yeah, it's fun though. This is what we want to do, right? Share this information and help people expand. That's what we're here to do at this time. So, yeah, my name is Jason Layton. I'm the creator of the Soul's Dream online course. You can find that at thesoulsdream.com. It's 100% free. I'm a hypnotherapist and I'm a metaphysicist. Um, and I'm so excited to be a part of this, the Waves of Light this time, where last time I was kind of on the back end doing the video and I got a little chance at the end to speak, but this time I'm going to have some time to speak, and I'm preparing a very, very awesome presentation I think it's going to really blow people out of the water, because there's some new information that's coming out that's going to be extremely beneficial for people to have, and I'm very excited to share. So I've been working on putting that together for a couple weeks now, and as we get closer to the date, I'll have it finalized, but I cannot wait to share this information because it's really amazing. Like, I'm very, very excited. I would love to talk about it now, but you know what? I'm going to hold on and wait for the conference, because it's incredible, incredible stuff coming.
Well, you have me on the seat of my pants waiting and finding out because I'm like, don't
Yeah,
give me a teaser like that, Jason. Don't
yeah.
do that.
It's
Because,
it's
and I
it's
know this because, well, like you said, you guys are kind of on the back end a little bit. Jason and Jamie were amazing, and he's amazing with technical support and has his amazing video equipment and everything. And he's so kind last year to volunteer to videotape it all for us. produce it in that format. And so we were able to share the conference and highlights with other people. And, you guys had such great talents, but we had the beautiful experience to be able to have Jason speak last year at the conference. And I'm telling you, people just sat there like this.
Yeah.
And I was so excited because the conference, which happened to be a cruise last year, some people stayed behind and didn't fly out on Monday home. They stayed one more night. And so many people, I remember you and Jamie got to sit down and actually talk with them and share more about your presentation. I'm not sure what you're sharing because you have us hanging on pins and needles over here trying to find out and wait. So excited for the announcements. But you ended up talking about the correlation of astrology with, and I love it. I've used this in examples when I'm working with clients, when I'm talking to people, when I talk to big, large groups, even with the healing work I've done, and working with different people of religions and different beliefs and everything else, I brought in items that you talked about on the cruise. So I know that whatever you're planning is going to be amazing and fabulous, you and Jamie, but you talked about the correlation of astrology. You talked about the correlation of our different eras of our human souls being here on this planet and Earth. And when we went from the golden era through the silver into the bronze, and now we're in the age of Aquarius and going back out, you brought in the different religious deities and combined it and showed everybody what passage we're on. And it really just like made everyone have this mouth dropping aha moment, where you had agnostic people, atheist people, Christians, non-believers, spirit, universe, Buddhists, all. And that's what Waves of Light is about. It's about bringing people of all forms, all thoughts in a laid back, easy, no judgment kind of thing. So we can all kind of share all of our gifts or our ideas with each other and make ourselves bigger and brighter and shine together. But you brought everyone into this moment where everyone's kind of like, oh.
Yeah. I felt like that was like the most important aspect of the course that I could present at that point in time, because I think with so much going on in the world, you look around, the governments and all this stuff happening, I think security and understanding that everything is happening exactly according to plan. And that's really your plan, individual plan, your soul's plan, your soul's growth. And I kind of broke down how it goes through the different vibrational frequencies moving through these different ages, and how the stars are playing an effect on our experience. So it was awesome. It was really cool to get the feedback from everybody. Everybody was like really like, they were like, thank you so much for sharing that, 'cause I feel at peace now. Like I feel like what's happening now, it's kind of like I'm not like fighting it. I understand it better. So, and I think understanding is one of the greatest things that we can get from this information, because once you understand how something works, you can start to use it. Otherwise, you're just in a sea, ocean with this beautiful sailboat with no sail. So once you get a direction, you can put that sail up and start moving in a direction.
And I love what you and Jamie have been doing, is that you're helping to find ways to give people that direction as all are awakening, Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, universe, spirit. There's so many of us awakening more, even people that were gifted or we came into this world awake already. We are coming into new levels and new ways with our gifts. And the two of you, having known you all since the conference and share time with you and watch your experience, and that's where I say I admire the two of you guys who've been working so hard day and night to do everything you're doing to share with the Soul's Dream, as well as Masters of Octave. Everything that you guys are doing, foundations, everything that the two of you are doing, really you're doing, like you said, to try to get people spurred on with their journey. So share a little bit with me about you and Jamie, especially like where you guys have been since the conference till now and looking towards 2020.
Yeah, well, it's been ever since last I'd say September. It was like just go 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 go. So we were like building multiple websites, because we were in our local community. We were doing things here, with 30, 40 people here, gathering once a week. And then we started branching out into the online community, which is it's a different world, moving into the online community. So it took about a year to build everything, to build the websites, to build the campaigns for the advertisement, and that's where we've actually been the last year. But this year we're finalizing everything, and then next year we're looking to get an RV and start traveling. That's what we want to do. We want to get an RV. Our kids are homeschooled, so they can come with us, and we're gonna start moving around and sharing the information and helping people transform extremely quickly. Because the last, I'd say, 20 years, I've been researching and finding out how to use this information. Because information's good, right? But you want to make it wisdom, right? You want to apply the knowledge and make it wisdom. So I've been always looking for the most applicable information that I can share, like something that we can use. And what I've come across this year, it's going to be life changing for so many different people. And I have my own hypnotherapy courses, and I work with private clients, and people are making drastic changes extremely quickly. And I like working with people more on the healing side, and that just started recently this year because working with you. Because I was going through this thing, no one knew what it was, and then you're like, hey, let's get together and we'll do this healing session, and it transformed me like that. The next day I felt like it took 2 days for it to be completely gone, the issue that I was having physically. And then it was like something opened up for me. Like, I just started downloading all this information. It was kind of like an activation for me to start moving more into the healing realms of using the subconscious mind and our bodies to really make massive changes extremely quick. So I got to thank you for that, because it was incredible, that session.
No, thank you. It was my pleasure, my honor. And I mean, you and Jamie are amazing, brilliant souls. Your mom was on the cruise at the time, our conference. She was there. Such an amazing soul. Your children. Mm-hmm. And you know, one thing I need to say, and I'd like to say this out loud as well, is that being a medical doctor myself, and then choosing not to practice medicine, just doing the spiritual work and spiritual healing with the gifts that, like I always say, they're not mine, they're higher powers in a sense, and I'm just connected with the divine to be that channel. In medicine, hypnotherapy is one of those things that it's okay, and it's kind of covered sometimes by insurances, depending on your insurance or not. It's something that's accepted by medicine for people to work with for weight loss, for healthy eating, for quitting smoking, changing of life, mindset, changing our mindset, because so many times we don't feel like we have the power to do it ourselves, although we do, but we feel like we need hypnotherapy to do it. And I know you go past the hypnotherapy. I know you go further into the core because of your soul. But I want to say that in hypnotherapy, it's very important to find someone you can trust and you can honor, that honors you, honors your mind, honors your soul. And I really feel that with you. I feel that with you. I feel that with Jamie. And so I actually had somebody ask if I know a good hypnotherapist or in-depth hypnotherapist. It was actually just somebody yesterday. And I said, actually, I do know somebody. They need somebody, and they were going to talk to them. And if not, I was like, well, let me know. If not, I have somebody I can refer you to that I trust. Because I think that with hypnotherapy, you being a therapist yourself now with hypnotherapy, what has been your understanding or take with people? Because I know there's a lot of fears. There's a lot of anxiety behind hypnotherapy. So tell me how it's safe, especially when I'm looking at this spiritual journey I want to walk on. And I don't want someone messing with my energy fields.
Yeah, well, walk in the store. Walk in the store. You're going to feel somebody's... You can't get away from other people's energy fields. That's impossible. Anywhere you go, you're going to feel these energies. That's why it's important to have these blocks around ourselves. And those blocks don't mean you have to like always consciously say, I'm blocking. It's just an awareness where you're always centered. And when you're always centered, you're able to respond instead of react to the energies that are around us. But I think a lot of the misconceptions come from hypnosis is the like the comedian side of hypnosis, where they're making people, quack like a duck or bark like a dog or that kind of stuff. I think people are like kind of get weirded out from it, but it's insane because we are always in a state of trance. If you think about it, what trance is when you're internal. When you're internally processing something, you are in a trance. So like when you're talking to someone and all of a sudden they're somewhere else, like, hey, you there? They're moving into a trance. When you're driving, you go into a trance. When you watch TV, you go into a trance. It's a natural state that we are always in. We're always in and out of trance all day long. So it's like people say like, oh, I can't be hypnotized. You're always in a trance. And what we're talking about is a vibrational frequency, because everything in this reality is vibrations. It's a frequency. Our minds are in a frequency, a state of being, right? So what hypnosis does Hypnosis is just a word or a tool to get you to a specific vibrational frequency within your mind, which is theta, right? So theta is so important, and alpha, which is right above theta. This is the place where the magic happens inside the mind. And like I was talking with Todd, one of the most interesting things is from the age of 1 to 7, our minds are functioning in theta. We're in theta. That's why we can learn 13 different languages when we're a kid with ease. You know, we pick up so much information when we're a kid because our minds are in that vibrational frequency, which is theta. So when we get older, we move into beta, where it's kind of harder to learn something, meaning it's harder to put it into the subconscious mind. Because in order to learn something after the age of 7, it's repetition, repetition, repetition. Practice, 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 practice makes perfect. But when you're a kid, you learn so quick because you're in the vibrational frequency of learning. And that's what hypnosis does. It allows you to go back into that vibrational frequency consciously. Whereas I'm just the kind of like the conduit to guide your conscious mind to your subconscious mind and find the issues. And what I mean by issues are emotional blocks. These are the things that are holding us back from achieving our goals. Like, people want money, right? Anyone talk to, like, I want money. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. They say, I want money. But why can't they manifest it? What is holding people back from manifesting money? It's these emotional blocks that they have picked up from the age of 1 to 7 that they might not even know it's inside of them. It's so amazing when I do life regressions with people, life regressions, to figure out blocks. Like, their blocks are in this life that they picked up when they were 2, 3 years old from their mother or grandparents saying something like their money is the root of all evil, right? Those things emotionally attach inside of us, but it's in our subconscious, which is called the unconscious. We're not conscious of it. That's why it's called the unconscious mind. But it controls 95% of our experience. 5% of our experience is the conscious mind. 95% of our experience is in our programs, in our subconscious mind. So we have these old, outdated programs running in the background, and they're holding us back from achieving, our greatest potential. And a lot of the things that we're holding on to are just perceptions, right? And they're misleading perceptions. A lot of it came from the academic world. And if you look at the academic world, you look at the books that the kids are reading in science today, even those are outdated that they're reading today. So the things that we have inside of us, I'm 40, some people, 50, 60, all that information from their childhood is still locked up inside of them. And they are still working as if that's the truth because that's what they were taught, indoctrinated into believing. But yet, we are not a physical body. We know this. We know that looking at quantum physics, the new science, right, that we are energy waves. And this waves of energy is malleable by our consciousness, opposed to the old Newtonian reality where we're looking at ourselves as a physical being that we have, we're hard. This is not the truth. We are so much more than we have been taught and led to believe. And it's been by design to give us the ability to forget who we are, to have this full-on experience. But we have to remove the emotional blocks from our past in order to move into this new paradigm that's coming in now, which is the ascension. The ascension started for everyone in 2012. That was the marker, right? The end of time. The end of time was the end of the old era of the descension, where we were descending in consciousness, forgetting who we are. Now we're in the awakening process, which is a beautiful place to be. But not everybody's ready. And that's fine, but some people are. And the people who are ready, they're going to be able to get on top of this wave that's coming and just surf it beautifully, like a nice, long wave that we're going to ride out. It's going to be so nice.
Why not, if we all can, let's rise together to be on top of that wave and have that nice long surf instead of being riptides and get crushed and crushed and crushed, right? I have a question for you. I'm so excited, like I said, that you and Jamie are going to be coming on for the Waves of Light conference. You guys are going to be speaking. We're excited to be there. Like I said, last time you left people in awe and ready for more. It was an amazing conference. And while I'd like for you to talk about your past conference experience and why people should go, and we have till the end of the month still for the early bird special by July 31st to sign up and save some money. But before you get into that, I really want you to talk about as well with PTSD. I mean, I know you do hypnotism. Like I said, I would trust you with hypnotism. I would trust you from the medical standpoint. I trust you from the spiritual standpoint, being my energetic field. But we do have a lot of people, I think, like you're talking about the different roles that it can be in, and consciously you're talking about what we're still holding on from the past. But as many people that have watched in the past, they know that I married somebody who he's a former Marine as well as a police officer. He retired as a lieutenant from the police department, and they go through a lot. They see a lot. We have a lot of military vets that have gone through a lot and seen a lot. And then, like you're talking about, somebody has PTSD from something their mother said or their grandmother said, or physical abuse or trauma, sexual abuse and trauma. Yeah. And so people might have PTSD, and they're also trying to open up their spiritual self, their chakras, and past life regression in this lifetime. And I know, because I deal with a lot of these people and I work with them as well, and I know things I've done to assist them. But I really want to hear from you, so that maybe people have a new renewed confidence. Where, you know, we're talking about like other things that we talk about for hypnotism of stop smoking, dieting, exercise, mindset change of life. But there's things that are deeper as well, that kind of, those other things are a little bit more surface. How have you seen with some of your clients, or things that you've learned? And I know you've studied, I love the science you always study and all the research you've done in the last 20 years on everything. That's why I always love talking to you and your brilliant mind. What would you do to inspire people so that they get over those fears or anxieties, or tell them how hypnotism or what you do, especially because you're doing on a combination with the spiritual end as well, might assist them? They don't have to come look for you. They don't have to come look for me. We just want to enlighten. Yeah,
definitely. Well, interestingly enough, when you're, like I said before, age of 1 to 7, you're in that beautiful phase of learning, right? And then you hit the age of 8, and you kind of start getting into your own personality, your own ego, in a sense. And it takes a little longer to be able to learn things. And as we get older, it gets even harder and harder and harder. But you can instantaneously, pretty much, lock something into your subconscious, and that's through trauma. So if something traumatic happens like this to you, that imprints into your subconscious like this. Otherwise, you got to do something over and over and over again in order for it to lock into your subconscious. You got to create that habit. But when something traumatic happens, it's like instant, locks into your subconscious, and it basically becomes your reality internally. So when the PTSD is firing, when those emotions are firing off, those emotions are coming up from that experience, you can't turn that off, because it's in the unconscious. It's so deep in the unconscious that even if they wanted to say, I'm going to, positively think myself out of this. Remember, positive thinking, conscious thinking is 5% of our day. 95% of our day is all in our unconscious processing, our unconscious mind. So it's important to go in there and really identify what it is that happened, and then release that. And it's through the releasing that allows it to go. And the best way to do this by yourself is through meditation. Meditation, getting still and centered. Still and centered is so important, because then you can, once you get into that space, right, you can see what was happening in these issues, and you're kind of detached from them, right? So when you're detached from them, you can then change it. And when you go through the change, I mean, it's for PTSD. I mean, I don't know if I would say it's easy to do for something, because when you go into the meditation and you go to that experience, it's going to draw it back up. And that's why it's kind of, for something that's deep, a deep wound, I would say use a professional for that. But I mean, you can get tapes, guided meditation tapes, to kind of help you with pretty much any issue. But really, what you want to do is you want to go in there, and you want to be able to look at it and face it, and then change it in your mind. And once you change it in your mind, when you have the thought come in the future, that association of those emotions are no longer attached to it, so it doesn't fire you off. It's just like I had an experience. I was on stage giving a presentation. I gave a lot of presentations at work, no problem at all. And before I got on stage, I'm like, oh, what happens if I mess up? And then I was like, yeah, whatever. So I got on stage, and here comes that thought again. But what happened is I attached an emotion to that thought, and then my whole physiology changed. Everything, I started sweating. I'm like, oh man, I'm like really starting to sweat here. And then all of a sudden, mind goes blank. So I'm up to talking, I'm like, okay, crickets. Fight or flight. It's over. And you can't control that. Like, I was trying to talk myself out of that as it was coming, but once the emotion comes in, the feeling takes over, you can't control that. So what we do is you go in there and you change the emotional experience to the thoughts, right? Because we have our thoughts and we have our emotions, and we tie these together, we have a feeling within inside of our physical bodies. So it's about detaching those emotions with those thoughts so that we can move past those blocks, past those emotions. Because those emotional blocks, they will be there for the rest of your life until you get recycled, right? Going through reincarnation, get wiped, come back. But you can get wiped now. You don't have to wait that long. We can go in there and remove these blocks and start sailing very fastly now, because there is amazing technology coming out. And this technology is you, waking up to you. Because our bodies is the best piece of technology known to man. It's so incredible.
One of my friends is watching. We went to med school together. Sean, hi Sean. He used to say, like what you were saying at the beginning. He used to say, you know what, we're like a computer when we're 1 to 5, 1 to 7, and if what we're saying resonates with you guys, hit your like buttons, hit your love buttons, write a comment, please. We're here live with you guys right now. We're here for you, but I know we're talking about the conference for the Ways of Light conference in January, and that's why we're here. But we're here for you now as well. Yeah. But Sean used to say, hey, you're just programming the hard drive. When that's we're it. Like 1 to 5, 1 to 7, we're just programming that hard drive, and that's what you were talking about. But then after that, it comes in, like we said, repeat experiences and other things. And when we have trauma, that even changes our hard drive that was kind of programmed. We might have had this beautiful life with our parents, grandparents, everyone around us that was love. Maybe, some people were not fortunate enough to have that beautiful 1 to 7 year kind of programming, but they sadly didn't. But other people experience their trauma later in life, but it comes in and it like kind of puts a cricket in there. Do you work with people that have PTSD? Because I know you're talking about ways they can do it themselves. And then there's a certain level, like I understand as well, even deciding not to practice medicine, being a doctor, there's certain things that I'll be like, okay, now you need to see your healthcare provider for this, but I can help you with this. I help with past life regression. I help with different things of them as well. Unplugging that and getting over those. Is it something you offer? Helping definitely. Them through with
I like that so much. Yeah, I like doing that kind of work so much more than stop smoking cigarettes. Like smoking cigarettes is like, I mean, it's definitely a healthy choice. It's very good. But I mean, for me, helping somebody remove those emotional blocks so that they can walk through life free, that's key. And especially even physical ailments. I love working with physical ailments because we can command our cells are all attentive to us. We have 50 trillion cells inside of us, and guess who's the governing president of the cells? Yeah, the mind. This is the government. So what we're telling ourselves is changing our cells. Our cells are kind of just willing dogs. Like you have a dog and say, go, it'll go fetch, bring it back. That's our cells. Our cells are so willing to do whatever it is that we program them to do. But here's the key. You have to be in a specific vibrational frequency for them to hear you, right? And that key, the first thing is you want to be centered, right? Because when you're centered, you're able to respond instead of react. Because when we react, it's just the instinct of the old programming. When we're responding, we're taking charge of our experience, right? So we're responding with consciousness. And it's through there that we can make these changes. But it's directing ourselves to heal or to grow, whatever we want to do. We can direct this body to do whatever we want to do. And it's interesting, when you start going in and helping people with physical ailments and doing it through the psychological way of going through the mind and the subconscious mind, it's incredible to see all these things that they are holding on to inside of their minds. When the things implanted into them, it was all an experience that they had about someone saying something or something they heard or seen that they brought into themselves. And they're saying now that 80% of cancers are mind-induced. The genes, they're saying that genes are pretty much obsolete. That's an old way of looking at it. What we're looking now is at epigenetics, and epigenetics has to do with our surrounding environment. So if your family member has cancer, they can say, well, you have that gene to get cancer. But when they start looking at the genes, what the genes aren't doing anything but a blueprint. What's being controlled by the cells are the consciousness and the subconsciousness. So once we start programming the subconsciousness to change the genes, to change the blueprint, to change the encoding that's inside the DNA, it'll change. It'll take our direction once we start directing it that way. But the thing is, like I was saying earlier, it's all perspective, right? Perception. Our perception is we can't do that. We have to go to the doctor for that. We got to take these chemicals to change, where the chemicals, they're not changing. When you look at like death rates, right? That one of the number one death rates is malpractice. I mean, people dying of taking the wrong kinds of medications. I mean, it's incredible, and that's the way people are still going. You know, it's like we're so much more powerful than chemicals. We really are.
Well, and I'm not, and things that you're saying, I love working with DNA programming with my clients. Love it, love it, love it. I can testify. I've seen it happen. I've seen so many things be healed that normally wouldn't be healed. And it's that state of mind. It's that state of allowing that consciousness and subconsciousness, your enlightenment to be connected to your soul, to your healing, like you said, to your greatest computer and mind control. So I've seen it happen in so many beautiful spiritual ways. I've seen the healing happen, and then going back, and it's not just because, I'm an MD, even though I decided not to practice, I'm not defending physicians when I say this, but the sad part, when we are having a lot of those chemically induced deaths and everything you're talking about, it's not always because of the physician doing it.
No, not at all. Yeah.
So I just want to clarify this out for people. I'm not defending them, providers, but at the same time, it's a lot of time that they'll provide something with a certain care and a formula, and we don't follow that formula, and we self-medicate. We are mixing things we shouldn't be mixing, taking them at wrong times that we shouldn't be doing, and or giving them to other people because we have them in our possession to help them out when we shouldn't be doing that. And that's where we're seeing a lot of the deaths. But yet, like you're saying, a lot of times we don't even need as much of we don't even need as much of that, because it's now about understanding, going into that state of mind, because we don't become dependent on them either.
It's all energetic. This whole entire reality that we're in here, this matrix, is based on energy, vibrations, and frequencies. We are here to become a master of vibrations. That's why we're here. We have forgotten that. We have taken on this materialistic reality, but we are just energetic beings. And here's a little example what I'm going to talk about when we get into the conference. This is profound, right? This is like really, really profound. If you look at a power plant, right, that feeds our towns, right? The high tension wires that feed the power plant to our town, and then it's broken down even further on the transformers and then on the secondaries and into our house until we get our 220 volts or 120 volts at our outlets here. That's a lot of electric, right? So the main lines are 790 volts, 700,090 volts, right? That's a lot of voltage. Even rounded off to 1,000,000 volts. Okay, that's a lot of energy. Now, each cell within us is conscious. Okay, each cell that's within us has its own awareness, has its own direction, its own beingness in a sense. So when when you look at a cell, right, a cell has 1.4 volts. Now 1.4 volts is not a lot of voltage, right? Now think of 50 trillion cells inside of your body, meaning you have 70 trillion volts of electric in you.
Electrifying.
Think about it. There's 1,000,000 volts in the high tension lines, and we're talking 70 trillion volts inside of you. This shows that there is a massive paradigm of energy healing that is right at our fingertips. It's right at our but we are not taught that. Our perception and our perspective of the reality is completely different. But we are a pure energetic being. And once we understand how to move what we call chi or prana, which is energy, these 70 trillion volts that are within us, it's going to be lights out. It's going to be absolute lights out. We're not going to need chemicals. We're not going to need to go in there and cut things out. We are going to be able to take our hands or just our minds and make massive changes really quick. And it's all about belief. Once you believe you can do something, you start taking the actions to make that happen. And think about that. 70 trillion That's insane.
Hey,
I mean,
I believe, brother, I believe.
it's an insane amount of energy. It shows that we are seriously, we are suns. We are galaxies within us. I mean, 70 trillion little beings are within inside of us making our reality. When I make a muscle, right, these are vibrational frequencies of electricity being pulsated into the muscles to make my muscles move, right? So these cells are like, oh, time to move, time to move. They're always listening to us, and they're going to do whatever we do to guide us into the path that our soul wants to experience. But
And
we can take
choose,
control.
like you say, with our soul experience, and you did the soul
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
You and Jamie did the soul stream and developed that. But with our experience, we can choose to make that a positive electrifying experience, or we
Yeah.
can choose to use that in a negative format. So that's where we're going back to Waves of Light and
Yeah.
the conference being in January, by having people like you there speaking, by having Jamie there speaking. We have amazing speakers that are going to be part of it now in 2020 in January in Sarasota, Florida, the 17th
Yeah.
and 19th, Martin Luther King Day weekend. We can all choose to have all of our electrifying voltage be in a more positive way, working together, bringing different ideas, different views, hypnotherapy, amazing information like you're even sharing here a little bit with us. Thank you for kind of
Yeah.
opening up, because I know you're saving it till a little bit later. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
some of it tonight. Appreciate that. But, I know that we've kind of been on for a little bit, but before we even get closer to getting off, share with everybody that might be considering, do I maybe attend the early bird specials at the end of the month? I was thinking about it. I'm not sure
Yeah.
yet. And you kind of have a unique view because you went last year. Kind of you, Jamie, and your mom were more wanting to be observers, and we kind of pulled you in last minute to kind of speak. And this year you're coming back to
Yeah.
speak, be one of our presenters as well, and do a workshop. So share with us like your experience of last year, and maybe why you're returning, whether you would have been speaking this year or not, why you'd be returning.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like just the group of people that were there. It was like a gift. Like everyone I spoke to was like just on this beautiful, beautiful level. Like it was amazing. It really was amazing. And then there was a couple people that were there. I remember talking to this one guy. I forget his name, but he was so like very rigid. He's like, no, no, no. I want to see this. I want to see that. I want to see this. And then by the end, he was like, this changed my life. Like I am so wide open. He was a changed man after that. And he's like, I've traveled the world 2 times over and never had an experience like that. And I was like, wow, that's saying something. He's been around, and he's like, I haven't traveled the world, but I've been in a lot of places, and it was definitely an amazing experience. But to have him say that stuck with me. I'm like, wow, that's pretty profound.
Yeah. And he got him up in front of the group at the end, and even shared that, and he was breaking down crying because I remember he had a personal reading with me for a one-on-one, and he went to all of us that were offering at that time, and like okay, he's listening to everything, and it was like right on, but then he's like putting up the shell of disbelief, or no, I'm not sure, still skeptical. And he even said like, hey, I was skeptical, I was this, like you said, he's mentioned traveling the world twice over and never having an experience, and he says, I am light now, I am awake. And he was just tears of joy and overwhelming emotions, and it was just so beautiful to hear his testimony.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the talks, and I also enjoyed the workshops, though, like the hands-on. I'm like a hands-on person. I like doing things, So when you're talking, it's beautiful information, but the hands-on was amazing. There was so many awesome experiences with the healing, people being sick on the ship because the waves were like 15 feet high, so everybody was getting seasick. And then it was a perfect day to have a healing session, and everybody was like being healed, like boom, 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 boom. It was great.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was a really, really amazing trip. And then we were definitely planning on coming again. And then you guys contacted and said, would you like to be a part of it, to be a speaker? And 100%, I couldn't think of anything better to do with my time in January than be in Sarasota, Florida, with 2 heated pools. Nothing. Oh, it's an amazing place. I've been there before. It's an amazing place.
Well, last year, we have some people that didn't join us because it was on a cruise, and they were kind of like, if you do something on land, let us know. And so this year we really wanted to do it. It's going to be, like you said, Sarasota. It's going to be at the Lido Beach Resort. Really nice place. If you're not going to stay there, which we highly encourage you to stay there, because you do have the community that you're around and more interaction with people for dinner after and spending more time. But there's other accommodations around as well. And you can go to wavesoflight.org, wavesoflight.org, and register there, sign up, find amazing information on Jason and Jamie, on all the other speakers that will be there. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Like this video, share this video, go to Waves of Light as on Facebook, like and share anything you want, get the word out. We have early registration ending now here on July 31st, but please go to the website, check it out. I'm so glad you're a part of it last year. And when we were talking about who to have come speak this year, there was not even any kind of questions. It was like, we have got to have Jason on, we got to have Jamie, because as well as, not just because you guys were there last time and all that you are, we know your souls, we know your spirits. We also always are looking for people that we can trust and trust whoever comes and is part of this conference, because people really are trying to find their soul frequency and find their soul family and find other people that are on. And so, you know, as they do that, you know, we're trying to kind of get people into that and understand all of that so that we can get the right type of people. And you and Jamie have that right type of spirit, the right type of soul that's trusting, that's loving, that's caring, that you want to come share for all the right reasons with anyone who might be there. And like you say, even the gentleman that we were discussing before, which he got up and he testified in front of everyone that day, like, I came in skeptic, I came in this way. No one judged him for it. No one told him, why are you here? No one told him anything. And he says, I came to a very loving group. He was overwhelmed by how everyone just accepted him, accepted his thoughts, his beliefs, his ideas. And he grew from there because of that as well. So like you were talking about earlier, it's our state of being, it's our conscious and subconscious self, and getting our ego out of the way, our conscious self out of the way, so that we can be that brighter light, that shining light. And you and Jamie are so awesome. You guys are great. You're beautiful. And like I said, with hypnotherapy, I would trust you. I would refer people to you with what you do and everything else that you guys do, because tell people how they can get a hold of you if they wanted to. Jason, real quick, please.
Yeah. jlayton.com. So JAYLAYTON.com. That's my hypnotherapy and spiritual coaching site. And then I have thesoulsdream.com. That's my 8-lesson course on our reality. I break down who we are, where we come from, where we're headed. And I started off very basic with the understanding of energy and moving it into a very complex understanding of the matrix. And then also the mastersoctave.org, and that's my nonprofit. So.
Well, and we want to thank, you know, I saw Michelle just got on. She's saying, hey guys, and she was at the conference last year as well. Jeanette's on. I see her. She was on. Samantha's on. Rose on. Sean. Dave, my husband. Hi, Dave. Your wife, Jamie's on, watching us as well live. So anyone else who is clicking on or came on and we didn't catch your name or something like that, a big shout out to you, and every single one of you that's going to be watching this later. I highly encourage you to go to wavesoflight.org, find out more information about the conference, join us. We hope to see you. Take advantage of the early bird special that ends July 31st. Register. And Jason is amazing. Look at Jason, look him up. Like he said, get in touch with him. I highly recommend him, and so excited, so thrilled that you're going to be one of our speakers at the conference. And Jamie and you are going to be there, sharing your love, sharing your light with so many people in a beautiful manner that, I mean, I love them. I'm always kind of like, hey, Brian's even attesting to it. He's saying Jason is an amazing human. Yes, he is. He's beautiful. So I feel honored to call you all my friends as well, not just colleagues, but friends. So thank you guys for being a part of this. Thanks for sharing your time with us this evening. And lots of love to everyone out there. And anyone who watches the later, may the love and energy and all the healing from this live video catch you later as well, because energy, like we said, it's always working.
That's it. It never ends. It just keeps.
Never ends. And whatever you felt ignited while you were watching this, go out and share it with other people. It doesn't have to be about sharing
Yeah.
like, hey, and did this, or Jessica does this, or Waves of Light did this. Share the love and light that's resonating within you. Share that love and light and happiness out with others, because by the time you do that, you're not just changing your own life and your own perspective, you're helping change others.
And if
So
you're looking to have a life-changing event, join us because it is going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be great.
it's life changing for everyone that was ever involved, myself
Yeah.
included, the
Yeah.
founder, life changing. So
Yeah. Very exciting.
it's a beautiful team. We have great founders that came together doing this, and we have great speakers, and that are all coming with heart, coming with light in beautiful ways. So lots of
That's
love
it.
to y'all. Have a beautiful
Yeah.
day.
Bye-bye.